To avoid being bullied, I lied to the queen bees, telling them I was the girlfriend of the king of the school. From then on, I made sure to appear by his side every day, pretending we were very close. Today, the head queen bee dragged me into a small wooded area to confront me. You dare lie to me? The school king's girlfriend. Who do you think you're fooling with that nonsense? Unexpectedly, the school king himself, with his hands casually in his pockets, slowly walked out from behind the trees and wrapped an arm around me. My wife. You dare to touch her? That day, the teacher called me out into the hallway. Can you switch rooms with Sarah Lynn? Sarah was originally in room 302, but the entire room was filled with queen bees. They burned her hair, slapped her face, and even forced her to drink dirty water from the toilet. Unable to bear it, she reported it to the school. But the administration did nothing more than arrange for her to switch rooms. The next unlucky person was me. You're on a full scholarship. It wasn't easy for you to get into this school. We're having some difficulty with the room arrangements right now. As the class vice president, you should set an example, shouldn't you? The homeroom teacher's words sounded proper, but his meaning was anything but. Everyone else has status. You're the only poor one, so you're the easiest to bully. If I moved in there, my fate would surely be the same as Sarah's, or even worse. I was on edge all afternoon, trying to think of a way out. Just then, Caleb Thorne and his crew kicked open the back door and swaggered in. An idea immediately came to me. Caleb was our school's king. He was 6'1", handsome, exuded a dangerous aura, and was cold and taciturn. If he could just walk with me to room 302 once, those queen bees would have to show him some respect and leave me alone for a few days. I picked up my homework and walked over to Caleb, placing my completed English paper in front of him. This is today's homework. Caleb didn't even glance at it, keeping his head down as he played a game on his phone. I pushed the paper closer. He was about to tear it up in annoyance, but when he saw it was already done, he finally looked up at me. I said softly, Caleb, the homeroom teacher said you need to help me move rooms this afternoon. He was stunned for a moment, then thoughtfully nodded. Even though he was the school king, he was still a student in the class. Helping a female student move wasn't a disgraceful task, especially since I had cleverly bribed him with homework. That afternoon, I led Caleb to room 302 and unlocked the door with my key. The queen bee of room 302, Vicky, was sitting on a chair, surrounded by her clique, looking like she was holding a trial. Eliza Collins, is it? Once you're in room 302, you have to follow my rules. I had expected this scene and just replied with a soft, "Oh," and stopped in my tracks. Why aren't you coming in? Go on. Caleb, carrying a pile of my things, strode forward. The queen bees were stunned. What rules? Can I put this on the table? He asked, not even bothering to look at them. With a thud, he tossed my bedding onto the table. The queen bee shot up, trembling. Yes! Yes, of course. Caleb paid her no mind, turned back to get my wash basin and thermos from outside the door, placed them in the bathroom, and then walked out. I quickly ran after him. Want to have dinner together tonight? No. Well, after you eat, come to the classroom for self-study early. The homeroom teacher is keeping an eye on you. I gave him a gentle reminder, watched his back disappear, and then pretended to reluctantly close the door. The atmosphere in the room had completely changed. Are you close with Caleb Thorne? What's your relationship with him? I shyly lowered my head and smiled without saying a word. In this situation, silence was more powerful than words. The way the queen bees looked at me immediately became wary. They could bully an ordinary girl, but to touch the school king's girlfriend, that was asking for trouble. I calmly unpacked my things, then placed my water cup on the outermost edge of the water table, the most convenient spot to use. The next few days, my life in room 302 was surprisingly peaceful. Everyone treated me with the utmost politeness. That afternoon, I happened to run into Vicky Vance. Eating lunch alone? Where's Caleb? She asked, probing. My heart sank for a moment. She's starting to get suspicious. Just then, Caleb and his crew came out from the sports field. I tucked my hair behind my ear and smiled gently. He went to play basketball. He doesn't take care of himself at all, just plays all day and doesn't even bother to eat. With that, I ran to the snack bar, bought a carton of strawberry milk, and blocked Caleb's path. "Thank you for helping me move the other day." I lowered my head, feigning shyness, placed the milk carton in his hand, and then turned and ran off before he could react. His friends immediately started hooting and teasing him. Although Caleb was intimidating, he was very handsome. The number of girls lining up to confess to him every day could probably stretch to the outskirts of the city. This prank would eventually pass. After finishing my demure lady performance, I returned to Vicky's side. She looked at me, completely bewildered. "Caleb likes to drink that? Whether he likes it or not, I don't care," I pouted nonchalantly. "As long as I like it, that's enough." Vicky's gaze immediately turned to one of awe. In her eyes, I was now the girl who could hand-feed the school king milk. In the distance, Caleb glanced at me, his long eyelashes drooping as he bit down on the straw of the milk carton. A majestic school king, now openly walking around campus with a carton of strawberry milk in his hand. That very day, the school forum exploded, flooded with high-definition pictures of the school king drinking milk. 666. Our boy Caleb is built different. Drinks the sweetest milk. Fights the meanest fights. Attention, ladies. Next time, don't bring water or sports drinks to the basketball court. Remember to bring milk. Hasn't Caleb never been involved with any girl before? Why the change of heart this time? Who is that girl? His class vice president. That girl with the glasses. She looks as plain as water. No way. The comments on the forum reminded me that if I wanted to pretend to be Caleb's girlfriend, it would be very easy to be exposed. After all, there was no relationship between us. Besides being classmates, we had never spoken more than a few sentences. Moreover, Caleb was one of the 3 heartthrobs of the school, while I was just an obscure girl who only knew how to study. If I wanted to convince people, I needed to build a foundation, to fill in the inconsistencies so no one would doubt. Especially Vicky. That afternoon, Bianca Thorne, a girl from the class next door, came to find me. Bianca was Caleb's adopted sister, in the literal and legal sense. His family had adopted her and had all the legal papers. But in Bianca's eyes, an adopted daughter was a pre-selected daughter-in-law, so any girl who got close to Caleb was torn to shreds by her. She told me to meet her in the small woods behind the school. Strawberry milk? My name is Eliza Collins. I pushed up my glasses and replied calmly. She immediately raised her hand and slapped me across the face. "I don't care if you're strawberry milk or orange juice. Who the hell do you think you are? Dreaming of my brother. We're childhood sweethearts, a perfect match, and we're getting married in the future. Have you looked at yourself? Poor, ugly, and still trying to climb up. From now on, you are not allowed to get near my brother again, you hear me?" I adjusted my crooked glasses, licked my lips, and watched her walk away with a smug look. Excellent. Just when I needed a pillow, someone brought one to me. With one side of my face bright red, I returned to room 302, leaned against the railing, and let out a few weak sobs. Very quickly, Vicky noticed something was wrong with me. "Who slapped you?" "It wasn't Caleb, it was Bianca." I cried while taking a tissue to wipe my tears. Vicky immediately understood. It was her again. Who doesn't know about the Thorne family and their little adopted sister act? She doesn't like me, so I don't dare to make my relationship with Caleb public, and I don't dare to get close to him. But she still found out. I sobbed like a little wife being bullied by her sister-in-law, then took out my phone and showed it to Vicky. The message I showed her wasn't from Caleb but from Bianca. After slapping me, she had even added me on a messaging app and sent a series of 59-second voice messages cursing me out. Vicky only listened to a few seconds before exploding in anger. "That bitch dares to touch someone from our room 302? Let me handle her for you." Just a few days ago, the girls in this room were planning to deal with me. Today, they were planning to deal with Bianca for my sake. Dorm life was always this strange. Actually, I don't like fighting. I just want to live peacefully. But the wound on my face really hurt, not to mention Bianca had long nails and had scratched me in several places. When Bianca was being dealt with, I was in the dorm, standing in front of the mirror, gently dabbing at the wound on my cheek. She probably never expected that one casual slap to a bookworm like me would lead to this outcome. Bianca was beaten up for no clear reason. The next day, she dragged Caleb along to confront me. It was her who hit me. Bianca, her face swollen, pointed at me and cried. She's the class vice president for academics, not for physical education. How could she hit you? Compared to her, you're as thin as a reed, while she's as strong as a bear. Caleb didn't even bother to coddle his adopted sister. He even seemed annoyed by her. She didn't do it herself, but she had her roommates come and hit me. Those delinquents, it's a miracle they didn't pull out your hair. Caleb had been to our dorm before and understood the atmosphere in room 302. But I'm your family. Bianca stomped her foot in anger. Caleb looked at her for a moment, then sneered. Alright, if she really did have her roommates come and hit you, then guess why? Bianca was speechless. Do you want to explain where the wound on her face came from? Bianca gritted her teeth. How should I know? I didn't hit her that hard. Caleb couldn't be bothered and pulled me away. The whole time I just kept my head down silently, revealing my wounded face. Caleb took me to the school's infirmary. As the nurse was applying medicine to my face, he sat with his legs crossed nearby, watching intently. Now that there's no one else around, you can tell the truth. Where did the wound on your face really come from? I replied gently. I was careless and hurt myself. Actually, Bianca was right about one thing. She didn't hit me this hard. Caleb smirked and tapped his own cheek. Still covering for her at this point? On the way back, we happened to run into Vicky. She must have heard rumors that Bianca had tattled on me and came to ask what to do. But when she saw me walking with Caleb, she froze, her eyes wide with shock as if she had seen a ghost. I quietly tugged on Caleb's sleeve. Caleb casually shielded me behind him. My phone buzzed. It was a notification that I had been added to the room 302 group chat. Sister Eliza, you're amazing. That bitch Bianca is no match for you. Our sister-in-law is so fierce. How are you going to thank me? Caleb's voice sounded beside me. I was a little taken aback. Huh? Weren't you very scared of them before? Actually, they call me Sister Eliza now. But one must not forget one's roots. It's all thanks to you, Caleb. To thank you, I'll do your homework for a week. Caleb licked the corner of his lip and sneered. And? Did Caleb like studying this much? I thought for a moment. During evening self-study, I'll tutor you. How about that? Caleb reluctantly nodded. It's acceptable. I was wondering how to close the distance with Caleb, and I never expected him to like studying. Wasn't this the perfect opportunity? Under the guise of tutoring, I asked the homeroom teacher for an empty classroom. Why here? Caleb walked in, realized it was just the two of us, and paused. If we were in the classroom, we would disturb the other students. Caleb didn't express an opinion. Just you and me? No one else? I shook my head and replied seriously. I promised to tutor you, so I won't tutor anyone else. I hope so. Caleb pulled up a chair and sat down next to me. I was well aware of Caleb's domineering personality, so I didn't pay much mind to his words. In the first session, I did a quick assessment of his level and found that his foundation wasn't bad. One explained a few problems, and he listened quite attentively. A stark contrast to his usual self in class, where he always looked like he was about to fall asleep and paid no attention to the lecture. The bell rang, and the hallway immediately erupted with noise like a pack of animals being released from their cages. I packed my things, pretended to stand up to get some water, then remembered something, bent down to fix my hair and leaned in close to his side. For this problem, you need to pay attention to this knowledge point as well. Caleb had his face down on the table as I explained. I leaned on the desk with one hand, and as a result, my hair covered his face. Just then, a scream came from outside the door. Oh my God, someone's making out in here. I immediately stood up straight and explained flusteredly. Don't talk, non. But this movement revealed Caleb's face. The student's jaw dropped, his eyes wide. It's Caleb Thorne. Caleb is kissing someone. Ah. He ran like the wind down the hallway, screaming crazily, spreading the rumor throughout the entire grade. High school students with nothing much to do besides studying love to gossip. That evening, many people deliberately walked back and forth in the hallway, peeking into the empty classroom as if looking at monkeys in a zoo. Vicky and her group, at the very least, went to the bathroom 3 times, their eyes looking at me as brightly as stars. Back at the dorm, my roommates no longer had any doubts about my status. They even looked at me with a sense of pride, as if I had achieved something great. You two finally went public together. And what's more, I don't know how much effort I had to put in to create this opportunity. I thought to myself, but out loud I pretended to be shy. Well, we couldn't just keep sneaking around forever, like some secret affair. Before going to sleep, I opened the school forum. Everyone was buzzing about it. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, is the school hotshot really taken? Don't scare yourself. A rich, handsome hotshot falling for a small-town bookworm. Does that sound reasonable? I already asked their classmates. They said it's just tutoring. Tutoring that requires a private classroom? And kissing? Only delusional people would believe that. My phone suddenly started buzzing nonstop. It was a voice message from Caleb Thorne. This wasn't my burner account. It was the school hotshot's real account. He had just added me as a friend. Hey, Vice President. Everyone is saying you and I were hiding in an empty classroom to make out. The boy's hoarse voice was laced with amusement. I rubbed my temples and coolly typed a line. You have time to browse the forums? Then you'll have an extra test tomorrow. Caleb Thorne. Actually, I had no intentions towards him. It was just to avoid being targeted by Bianca that I had to play along in this drama with him. Many times, who you are isn't important. What's important is who you know, what relationship you have with them, and who you eat and live with. These are the things that truly define your place in society. School is a microcosm of society. Of course, it follows the same rules. Currently, I was no longer a nameless student from the lower rungs of a small town, solely focused on studying. I had become Caleb Thorne's rumored girlfriend. Many people hated me, despised me, but many more were afraid of me. And that was enough. Just when I thought I would lay low for a week, Bianca suddenly made a move. She didn't play fair and went straight to the dean's office, accusing me and Caleb of dating. When I was called in by the homeroom teacher, I was completely stunned. I just wanted to borrow his halo to create a pretty picture, but she actually called Caleb's mother to come and confirm this? Was it really worth it? As I approached the door of the office, I could already hear Caleb's mother crying. My son comes to school to study, not to get into a relationship. He's still young. What does he know about love? With his personality, who could he possibly find? Isn't it just some bad girls who hang out at clubs or bars? I don't want to be a grandmother at this age, do you understand? Caleb and I walked into the room. I thought that manners were still important. Hello, ma'am. Caleb's mother stopped crying and stared at me in surprise. This is the class vice president, in the top 10 of our grade. Caleb introduced me, his tone even carrying a hint of pride. I didn't know how to react either. Out of reflex, I poured a cup of hot water and offered it with both hands. Ma'am, please have some water. She was even more flustered. Ah. She took a sip of water. She gradually calmed down and looked at me curiously. Are you the little girl who kissed my son? That's right, it was her. The shameless hussy, always sticking to my brother. Bianca gritted her teeth in anger. Everyone turned to look at Bianca with weary eyes. Bianca had painted her nails, curled her hair, and wore her uniform sloppily. She had to buy a larger size just to hide her hands in the sleeves. She wore her backpack slung low on her shoulder, looking very flashy. As for me, I had woken up early this morning and braided my hair into 2 simple, neat braids. It's just a misunderstanding, ma'am. I was just tutoring him, I gently explained to Caleb's mother. Our homeroom teacher felt he had great potential for improvement. So, with a sense of responsibility, the teacher assigned me the task of helping him improve his grades, as well as enhancing the academic image of the entire class. As I spoke, I put the homeroom teacher in a position where he couldn't deny it. Cough, cough. Indeed, it was because of tutoring that I allowed the two of them to be alone. But as for what they do outside of class, I'm not sure. Privately, we cooperate very well, Caleb suddenly added. I quickly smiled and chimed in, We study very hard and have made great progress. On this month's mock exam, he will jump at least 100 ranks. Caleb stared at me in disbelief. What are you looking at? Didn't you just add to my troubles? Caleb's mother, who had been half believing, half doubting, became excited upon hearing this and pulled me outside. Really? You can help Caleb improve by 100 ranks? Yes, ma'am. He's currently near the bottom. The entire grade has 500 to 600 students. Jumping 100 ranks would only put him at 500th. It's not that hard. She looked at me with an expression full of admiration. You're truly better than any of the state-level teachers I've hired. I smiled humbly. You're too kind, ma'am. If you can do it, I'll pay you $500 a month. I was stunned. Wow, there's such a good deal. One immediately put on a serious face and said, Ma'am, I think your daughter Bianca also needs some extra tutoring. I and Caleb's mother both stood at the door, looking at Bianca. Bianca suddenly shivered. I think you're right. Caleb's mother gritted her teeth. So both of them have to improve by 100 ranks, right? Correct. $1,000. Also, if they study together, there won't be any more dating rumors. Studying alone really affects his reputation. Deal. She shook my hand very decisively. Bianca couldn't believe that after her mother finished talking with me, she turned to the principal and said, It's fine. Just let the kids be. Bianca was anxious. But just let her come into our house like that. Listen to what you're saying. You're a high school student. Why can't you maintain the innocence of your age? Caleb's mother was heartbroken. Then she turned to me. Eliza, you can take her with you. Bianca couldn't believe it and ran out of the office in tears. The story of me and Caleb being called in and then leaving together, plus the appearance of his mother, quickly spread on the forum, accompanied by a picture of a distraught, crying Bianca, creating a sharp contrast. Heavens! Every other couple that gets called into the office breaks up. What's with this pair? The person next to them seems to be Caleb's mother. Could it be a meeting with the parents already? Very likely. The Thorne family donated a whole building to the school. If his mom accepts the daughter-in-law, what can the principal do? Just bow and call her young madam. What else? Who is this young madam? I want to see her once. Let me tell you. She's the vice president of our class, Eliza, top 10 in the entire grade. If it weren't for her family's financial difficulties, she would definitely be at the top. The tycoon really does like the intellectual type. Back at the dorm, my roommates looked at me in awe. Sister Eliza, you're so strong. You're only 17 and you're already engaged to a prestigious family. Vicky couldn't understand. In their circle, getting pregnant or having an abortion was common, but getting engaged or meeting the parents was almost unheard of. This is all thanks to my diligent studying. I seriously advised them. You guys smoke, drink, fight, go to bars, bully others. What's the use of that? No. Only by studying hard can you win over the school hotshot. I told them to take out their outlines, assess their levels, then listed a series of reference books and told them to go buy them. While you're at it, get me a carton of calcium-fortified milk. But I never expected that just as I had solidified my relationship with the Thorne family, Caleb would start acting up. The trouble began when Bianca started studying with us. The moment she walked in, she seductively sat next to Caleb. Brother, tell her to get out. I don't like this girl. I pushed up my glasses. Bianca, I am the tutor for both of you. That's right. Caleb immediately looked up at me. Teacher, can you tell her to get out? I don't like her either. Great. Who told you teacher was something you could use like that? You really are two peas in a pod. I promised Caleb's mother I would tutor both of you. Open your books. Bianca scooched closer. I didn't bring my book. Can I look at yours with you, brother? Click. Caleb shot up from his seat to get away, glared at her in disgust, then grabbed my arm and was about to leave. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Can't you see she's harassing me? We're changing rooms. How can we? I'm charging per head. I see. Don't worry. I held Caleb back. How about this? You sit on the left side of the aisle. Bianca sits on the right. That way, she can't get close to you. Caleb's beautiful phoenix eyes widened. I sat on the opposite side. What about you? I'll be in the middle, facing both of you, ensuring you both can hear clearly. We'll form a stable triangle. Seeing him leaving, Bianca stood up with a pout. Caleb, wait! Eliza, you fool! I don't want to study anymore. I only came to keep an eye on you, you vixen. So you don't seduce him. I smiled instead of getting angry. All right, you can go. I'll go find Caleb for a late-night snack. You're going for a late-night snack with him? Bianca's face was distorted. She quickly sat back down. No, take out the book. You're not leaving until you finish teaching. That night, I was teaching Bianca, and a large crowd of people was standing outside watching. Look! Caleb's rumored girlfriend is in a study group with Bianca. Doesn't Bianca scream every day that she wants to marry Caleb? Why is she doing a love triangle with her rival now? Isn't this just a variation of taking care of the sister-in-law during her pregnancy, transformed into teaching the sister-in-law math? Vicky frowned, puzzled. When I got back, she asked me, "What's the deal with you guys?" You wouldn't understand. I looked off into the distance, my eyes vacant. She was silent for a long time, then sighed. As expected, the world of the rich is a place where people eat people. Back at the dorm, I was about to contact Caleb, but I found that I had been blocked. What now? My income just got cut in half. Could it be that I could only choose one of them? Either Caleb or Bianca? I couldn't have both. You have to know Caleb was very smart, but making money from Bianca was easier. Tonight, I had to rely on my strong willpower not to slap her. Just when I was struggling to figure out how to salvage my $500, Caleb's birthday arrived. I only found out when it was already dark. Many people in the class had received invitations to a KTV. If Vicky hadn't asked, I wouldn't have known. Why didn't he invite you? Even the guys he plays basketball with were invited. Vicky was surprised. I bit my lip. We had a fight. It was because of Bianca. You could say that. She looked understanding. So, are you giving up? Hey, don't be discouraged. You have to go. Let Bianca know that the girls of room 302 cannot be defeated. So, the whole dorm got together to pick out my clothes, do my makeup, and then pushed me to the KTV. Go, win him back! I pushed the door open and saw a group of boys and girls singing and drinking. Seeing me, the friends next to Caleb nudged him and snickered. Caleb acted like he didn't see me. He tilted his head back and took a gulp of beer, his Adam's apple moving. I found a hidden corner and sat down. A moment later, a boy walked over. Hey, why aren't you playing? Don't know how. I can teach you to throw dice. It's easy. I glanced at Caleb in the distance, then shrank back. What's in your cup? Beer. Can you drink? I want to try. He happily handed me the cup. But before I could touch it, I heard Caleb's voice from behind me. She's underage. What are you doing? Amidst the boisterous laughter, the other boy had to leave. I sat for a while longer and then went out to the restroom. When I came back, Caleb was leaning against the hallway, a cigarette in his mouth. Seeing me, he stubbed it out. I walked up to him. Happy birthday. He had his long legs propped up on the ground, and the hem of his gym shorts accidentally brushed against my leg. What are you wearing? The pure and seductive style? It's cold, aren't you? Let's see who you're trying to show off for. Caleb, can you go back to tutoring? He sneered and held out his hand. You can't come empty-handed, can you? Where's the gift? I fumbled in my pocket, hoping to find something. The gods had heard my prayer. My hand touched a cheap red string with a good luck charm from the nearby shrine. I solemnly placed it in his hand. Consider yourself sensible. Caleb happily held out his hand, and I silently helped him put it on. Okay, I'm leaving now. Wait. Caleb went back into the KTV, and amidst the whistles, he said he was going back to school with me. I told you before, you only tutor me. Why did you let Bianca come? She's so annoying. Your mother asked me to. Why do you have to listen to her? Caleb frowned. Because she's your mother, I said. The night wind blew, and my long hair was tucked behind my ear. Caleb was stunned. A long time later, Caleb let out a soft, huh, turned his face to the other side, the tips of his ears bright red. You're impossible. Fine, I'll study, okay? Back at the dorm, I washed the set of clothes and returned it to Vicky. That red string of yours, Caleb insisted on taking it. I'll give you money to buy another one, okay? It's okay, but... Vicky hesitated. But what? That's the string I got from the shrine nearby to help with my period cramps. Me. The two of us simultaneously turned our heads to look towards the basketball court. Caleb Thorne wore that red string on his wrist, and under the lights, he was still waving his arms enthusiastically, as if deliberately letting everyone see it. I'll buy you 2 new ones, I said coolly. And what just happened, you will forever, bury it deep down and never tell a single soul. But the whole dorm already knows. Vicky Vance scratched her head.
Actually, the effect is pretty good. Everyone wants to go get one now. I don't care.
You figure out how to explain it to them. I patted her shoulder and said sternly, remember, keep your mouth shut. Vicky didn't understand what was going on but still nodded.
Caleb absolutely could not know what that string he was wearing was for.
My $1,000 income was once again tied to a 3-person study group. It turned out he had a new idea for the seating arrangement. You, sit over there and be quiet. Caleb pointed at Bianca Thorne. Don't come over here. And so, it ended up with me and Caleb sitting facing each other, one desk in front of the other, working on problems together. Bianca was sitting way over on the other side of the hallway, listening to the lecture from a distance.
That picture was so classic that someone took a photo that night and posted it on the school forum.
In the photo, the main scene was me and Caleb talking and laughing. In the middle of us, far in the distance, was Bianca, sitting as if she were about to collapse. The caption read, I was clearly here first.
How did things turn out like this? I'm not studying anymore.
She wailed. Then you can go. If you leave, it'll just be him and me. I had grasped her weak point. You're a cruel woman. I will definitely win him back. I threw her mistake-filled workbook down in front of her. You still have the mind to think about boys at a time like this? Look at this test, huh? How dare you date when you only got this score? Can you even sleep at night? My voice was so loud that Bianca was instinctively silenced. After all, in front of her was a test with a score of just over 30. Redo it. Why doesn't my brother have to redo it? She glanced at Caleb, who was chatting outside. Your brother didn't get a score of over 30. I was so angry I was about to grab a ruler. From now on, you have to stay behind after the second period. I'll give you private tutoring. Oh, will he be there? He won't be. But if you dare to skip class, he will immediately appear.
He'd love for that to happen. Under my death glare, Bianca sat up straight, picked up her colorful pens, and started to correct her mistakes.
On the monthly exam, Caleb got into the top 200, while Bianca barely made it into the top 100. The teacher gushed, Eliza, you are truly a compassionate soul. I must present you with a commemorative banner. Caleb's mother was moved to tears and slipped me a red envelope. A banner isn't necessary, ma'am. I'm still a student at this school. Doing this wouldn't be good for the other teachers. She insisted I keep the envelope. Eliza, do you have a package deal for your program? I want them to continue studying. I paused for a second. Ma'am, this is just friends helping each other out. In the near future, I might not have enough energy to tutor anymore. I still have to prepare for the college entrance exams. Oh, Caleb's mother was disappointed. Well, if you have free time, please keep an eye on them for me. Of course, ma'am. It wasn't that I didn't want to teach anymore, but making money from Bianca was truly too difficult. Caleb's look towards me was getting stranger and stranger. I decided to stop at the right time. However, just as I saw Caleb's mother off, I was counting my money on my way back in when I came face to face with Bianca's magnified face. You're only teaching us for the money, right? Her face was full of joy at having discovered a secret. You're not in a love triangle with us. I paused for a second, then continued to count my money. How much do you want? Let's split it.
Bianca didn't listen to me and just smiled brightly. So you don't like him. You just want to make money.
You're using him. then I still have a chance. I really couldn't stand it anymore.
This time you've made a little progress, but how can you still be thinking about dating?
With your situation, your mind shouldn't be filled with that kind of nonsense. Bianca snorted. Alyssa, if my brother finds out you're using him, you'll meet a very miserable end. He's the school king, you know. Guess how he'll react if I tell him you've accepted $1,000 in tuition fees? I decided to go all in. I held out the entire envelope with both hands and begged her. A flash of foolish cunning appeared in Bianca's eyes. I don't need your money. I want you to help me get him. On Saturday, Bianca and I were walking down the street together. What's your plan to make him like you?
I'll sleep with him, get pregnant with his child, and then force a marriage. Bianca said this while applying more powder to her face. I suddenly remembered Vicky's words. The world of the rich, it's a place where people eat people. So, what's your specific plan? You call him and tell him to come here.
Then you give him this bottle of milk with a date rape drug in it. After he drinks it, you go out, and I'll go in to take your place. Where did you get a date rape drug? Bianca flicked her tiny spaghetti strap. I've already arranged to get it from a guy named Mr. Chen. You just wait here. I'll go get it now.
Remember to call him over.
Okay. You go on. It seems you know your place. Bianca happily walked into the KTV. The moment she left, I immediately dialed 911. Hello, officer. I'd like to report someone selling date rape drugs to a minor. The address is... After making the report, I sat outside and waited.
I waited for a long time, but Bianca didn't come out.
I went to the KTV room to find her. The moment I opened the door, I saw several social outcasts holding Bianca down. One was covering her mouth, another was pulling at her clothes. Seeing me walk in, Bianca struggled even more fiercely. Get out! This is none of your business. We're together. I leaned against the door, crossing my arms and watching.
The thugs looked at each other and sneered. Hey, your friend has some private business.
If you don't want trouble, get lost and keep your mouth shut. Rape is a crime. At least 3 years in prison. The leader slicked his greasy hair back and sneered. This little girl came looking for us herself.
Then why are you covering her mouth?
The guy let go, and Bianca immediately started panting, even letting out a sob. See? She's into this stuff. She even proactively asked us for happy pills. If she didn't want it, would she have dared to ask for it? It doesn't matter who she got the pills for. It's all the same to us. The guy laughed and squeezed Bianca's waist.
This girl dresses so slutty every day, trying to seduce men. With breasts this big, she's probably slept with who knows how many guys. Just used goods. What's the big deal if we have a little fun?
That's right. I rolled my eyes. Even if she likes to wear makeup, dress seductively, or act cute in front of men, that doesn't mean you have the right to sleep with her. If she doesn't consent, it's rape. They were about to argue more, but the sound of police sirens wailed. I didn't waste any more words, just took out my phone to record them running away, then got into the ambulance with Bianca to have her stomach pumped. Just as Bianca came out of surgery, Caleb arrived. What happened? The police called home and told my mom to go to the station. Bianca's face was pale. I glanced at her. Food poisoning. A dispute with the supplier. Yes, that's right. Bianca quickly chimed in. Caleb frowned. And you? Why are you here?
She invited me to dinner. Bianca hugged my arm.
Thank you for teaching me. When did you two get so close? Caleb leaned back slightly. Today, Bianca answered seriously. After being discharged, she asked me to meet her on the rooftop.
I'm giving up on him. Why?
Because my plan failed. She looked off at the sunset in the distance. Stop watching those melodramatic shows. I placed my hand on her shoulder. That's right. The innocent look of a young girl became resolute. It turns out movies are all lies. The movie clearly said using a date rape drug could be dangerous. It also didn't say wearing a Japanese schoolgirl uniform could get you raped. Bianca looked down at her chest, disappointed. My breasts really are a bit big. No matter what I wear, I look like a bad girl. They're beautiful. I sat down next to her, my legs dangling back and forth. I like your style. Really? Of course. Bianca cheered up again.
Actually, I don't really like my brother that much. But I'm an adopted daughter. I'm afraid that when I'm 18, they'll kick me out. Then I won't have a luxury car to take me around and I won't be able to afford pretty uniforms or expensive makeup anymore. As long as I marry him, I can continue to live the life of a rich lady. Hearing this, I swallowed my tears of poverty.
Wait a minute. I went downstairs and asked Caleb, "Are you willing to use money to have peace with Bianca?" Caleb was stunned.
I just wish that one day she would take half the family assets and disappear, and never come back to bother me again. I texted Bianca, "You also have a right to half the inheritance." As I and Caleb were walking away side by side, we heard Bianca scream from the rooftop. "Caleb!" I got goosebumps, afraid she was going to expose me. Unexpectedly, she said, "You should hurry up and pursue Eliza. Go on. She's too smart. In the future, you won't be deceived by others anymore." You psycho! Caleb Thorne gritted his teeth. Have I ever been deceived? I was walking and furiously texting my thanks to Bianca.
You're too good. Thank you. Your secret is safe with me for life.
Although Bianca said that, I still didn't feel at ease. I had a feeling Caleb already knew everything. The proof was that recently he often looked at me with the eyes of someone looking at a person about to die. I asked Bianca, and she was certain that her brother didn't know anything. I wasn't so sure anymore. I just wanted to slowly withdraw from this young master's world. After class, I went to the restroom with Bianca. At noon, I went back to the dorm to take a nap. In the evening, I dragged Vicky out for dinner.
Why did you ask me out to eat? Vicky raised an eyebrow. Did you have another fight with Caleb? Yes. What about this time?
Didn't you already sort things out with Bianca?
She even calls you sister-in-law now. I gently pushed the plate in front of me and said with a melancholy air, Caleb,
is the heartthrob of the school so handsome and outstanding? Well, I'm just an ordinary person.
We've been dating for so long, he's starting to get tired of me.
But you two have only been together for a little over a month.
In our messages, he's already started sending goodnight texts to someone else every day. Vicky angrily slammed her chopsticks on the table. How outrageous! He's clearly your boyfriend. Before I could reply, I heard a familiar voice right above my head.
I just heard someone talking bad about me behind my back, didn't I?
I froze completely. Caleb was carrying a food tray and sat down next to me, a not-so-friendly smile on his face. Just now, your roommate said I was your boyfriend. That's right. Vicky looked at me, then back at him. Haven't you two been dating for over a month? Is that so? Caleb drew out his words. Is that not true? He didn't answer. Just looked at me with great interest. Is it true? Yes. My face was burning, but I tried to stay calm. Of course it's true. Vicky felt the atmosphere between us was a bit strange. Caleb waved his hand slightly, and she reluctantly took her food tray and left. Unexpectedly, someone who looks so serious on the outside is secretly telling people I'm her boyfriend. Caleb smugly opened a bottle of strawberry milk and placed it in front of me. Why did you say that?
Huh? What do you and I have to do with each other?
I bit my lip, not knowing how to answer.
Not talking, are you?
Then I'll go to the school's broadcasting room right now to clarify, to let everyone know your roommate is a liar. He pretended to stand up. I quickly grabbed his wrist. Because I have a secret crush on you. Oh? Caleb sat back down and pointed to his hand. Go on. I like to listen. After that, Vicky also liked you and said she wanted to confess to you.
I was so panicked I said you were my boyfriend.
Because of our friendship, she didn't confess to you anymore. So that's how it is. Caleb pretended to think for a moment, then nodded. All right. If you like me that much, and the words have already been said, I'll reluctantly be your boyfriend. Wait. Sweat beaded on my forehead. I think you need to think about this more. You don't need to sacrifice yourself for something I said. It's okay. I'm a good person. I'm willing to sacrifice my first love to save you from an awkward situation. I stammered. You're too good. But this debt, I can't afford to repay it. Caleb very generously puffed out his chest.
What's the big deal?
If you can't repay it, you can just compensate with yourself. You can be my wife in the future. I was about to cry. We're only 18. You don't want to? He raised an eyebrow. Then I'll go to the broadcasting room. Don't. I want to. I really want to. I immediately wrapped my arms around his. Then how come you can't even smile? Blood and tears streamed out, turning into a smile showing 8 pearly white teeth. Click. That night, a selfie of the two of us became the cover photo on Caleb's social media. Oh my god! The top student really won over the school king. He even made it public on his social media. It can't be that he was forced, right? How can that be?
Look at his smile. He looks so happy.
But why does the top student look like she's about to cry? This must be a forced relationship.
The world of the rich is truly a place where people eat people.
Caleb and I were walking through the lecture hall. He was playing on his phone and suddenly turned to say, "Hey, Eliza. Everyone on my social media is saying that's a forced smile in the picture.
How can that be? Then why didn't you hold my hand?"
Caleb stared at my small hand. Am I not the person you've been secretly in love with day and night? I gently took his hand. Caleb's long, broad fingers forcefully intertwined with mine, squeezing until there wasn't a single gap. Don't avoid me. His voice was deep and magnetic. I won't eat you. At first, I wasn't used to the physical contact.
But after a week of holding hands, the feeling had changed.
It was like a couple who had been married for 7 years. Holding hands was like not holding hands, as natural as breathing. Then one day, Caleb asked me, "Wifey, can I hug you?"
I rolled my eyes at him. What a bold thing to say.
He raised his wrist, looking at the red string. "This thing you gave me, I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. Did you get it from the shrine nearby?" I rushed forward and hugged Caleb tightly. "Stop thinking! Feel me!"
All right. He returned my hug with great enthusiasm, rubbing his face against my neck. Wifey smells so good.
Don't lift me up and spin me around. Another week passed. I was sitting on Caleb's lap reading a novel. He suddenly leaned into my ear and asked, "Want to kiss?" I looked at the mint candy wrappers on the table. So much for being unprepared. Caleb lifted me up a bit. "Let me tell you something. I secretly checked my mom's phone and found out that last month she withdrew a full $1,000 in cash." It was said slowly, but happened fast.
I turned, grabbed his face, and kissed him. I used my eyes to signal. Stop thinking. Feel me! At first, Caleb was stunned. Then his dark, ink-like eyes suddenly turned into an ocean, reflecting sparkling starlight.
"That's not how you kiss." He held my waist, supported the back of my neck, and pulled me into a deep, lingering, and passionate kiss. His kiss was scorching hot, with the taste of mint. I bit back. "You jerk. You really are a jerk." Immediately after we kissed, the news was reported to the dean's office. The dean of students demanded that we both read a self-criticism essay in front of the whole school at the weekly assembly. Caleb stepped up to the podium, his long legs full of confidence.
I'm a man, let me go first. Oh, no noise.
Be quiet. He made a hand gesture, cleared his throat, and began to speak. Dear fellow students, I am standing here today for one reason only. I am in love with our class vice president, Eliza. Not only are we in love, but we also frequently hold hands, hug, and even kiss and lift each other up. This has been a very bad influence on our surroundings, especially on the single people. The Single People's Association was immediately hit hard. Woof, 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 woof. The entire assembly grounds were filled with mournful barks. The dean of students picked up a mop. Seeing this, Caleb quickly tried to look more serious. The reason I like Eliza is because she's very smart and also very beautiful. This is for sure. She got into our school on a full scholarship, and she even works part-time on the weekends to earn a living. I think few of us have such a strong and resilient spirit. Of course, she also made a little money from me, and that was the opportunity that brought us together. Skip this part, the dean of students yelled. In short, I really like my girlfriend. In the future, we will definitely get married, right, Eliza? Caleb gave me a thumbs up. Immediately, the dean of students chased him off the stage with a mop. This is not a self-criticism essay at all, he roared in anger. Let me.
I stepped onto the stage and opened my speech.
Today, the teachers have asked me to read a self-criticism essay under the flag,
and the theme is early love. I must point out that this concept is flawed.
Puberty usually begins around the age of 14 to 15.
In the period before the age of 20, our hormones are at their most active. It is perfectly natural to be curious about others, and it is even possible to develop feelings for people of the same gender.
Therefore, early love is an unscientific concept. I prefer to call it the natural human mate-seeking instinct.
Of course, here is the translation of the story you provided. Per your instructions, all character names, currency, and locations have been adapted according to the specific style you requested.
Society itself has distorted this natural instinct, suppressing the need to find a partner. We can't just forbid young people from dating. The dean of students raised the mob high, but was held back from behind by Caleb.
Of course, humans are social animals and must follow certain rules. Since we have caused a bad influence, we promise from now on to be more discreet in our relationship and try not to disturb others.
The dean of students, unable to contain his anger, charged forward aggressively. I, who had just placed first in the grade, quickly straightened my back. I'm not saying this to show off, but to emphasize that the idea that dating affects studies is a misconception. Dating only affects the studies of poor students, and for poor students, anything can affect them. Thank you, everyone. I bowed, then quickly ran back into the crowd. Caleb also ended his battle with the dean of students and followed me like a wisp of smoke.
Because we were determined not to back down, the principal was forced to call Caleb's family.
Unfortunately, the person who answered the phone was his father.
It's over.
This time we're really done for. My dad is not a nice person. Caleb's face looked like the sky was falling. It turned out his father was very strict. In middle school, Caleb was very good at gaming and even dreamed of dropping out to become a professional player. But his father beat and scolded him every day, even locking him in the house for 2 whole months. From then on, Caleb became extremely rebellious. Whatever his father opposed, he would definitely support. Whatever his father supported, he would definitely oppose. He's a cold and heartless person. He only wants me to inherit the family business and is even forcing me to marry someone he has chosen. He never cares about my feelings. He will definitely force us to break up.
Actually, I'm not the type to be so in love that I forget myself, but I hate the feeling of being forced to break up more than anything.
As we walked into the dean's office, I saw Caleb's father sitting there.
The sharp suit he wore gave him the air of a powerful man. Mr. Ko glanced past his son and then turned his gaze to me.
You're Eliza Trin. After that, he placed a notebook on the desk in front of me, his eyes cold. Caleb is not with you because he truly likes you, but only for revenge.
Dad, you read my diary.
That's an invasion of privacy. Caleb roared in anger. You are my son.
Your whole being is mine. What privacy do you have?
Knowing he couldn't win the argument, Caleb turned to me, a worried look on his face. Eliza, at that time, your mother told me about you tutoring for a fee. I was very angry. You lied to me for money, so I wanted to get revenge. Indeed, the matter was as he said. In his diary, the crooked handwriting was still clear. I hate you. I will win you over, then dump you, and make you never forget me for the rest of your life. But that was just a momentary impulse. Caleb scratched his head and explained awkwardly. After you agreed to be with me, I was so happy I couldn't even breathe. How could I dump you? Oh, I looked up. Do you have any other reasons to object, sir? Mr. Ko slowly took a puff of his cigar, his sharp eyes scanning me from head to toe. I have investigated your family background.
Your parents are migrant workers from the countryside who left their son behind with them. You were left to fend for yourself. What do you think you can give my son?
I can get him into Harvard or Yale. His hand froze, the ash from his cigar falling onto his pants. My son can get into Harvard or Yale? He glanced at Caleb, his voice full of doubt. Can he do it? It doesn't matter, I replied calmly. When the time comes, the admissions offices of Harvard and Yale will come looking for me. I will tell them that I want to attend the same school as my boyfriend. Whichever school agrees to let me bring my boyfriend along, I will choose that school. Mr. Ko took a long drag from his cigar, his eyes full of surprise.
The expression on his face seemed to say, "You can even do that? Is there no problem with that?" "There is. It's just that later, when Caleb is in college, his dorm will be full of valedictorians. That might put a little pressure on his psyche." "Why can't I be a valedictorian?" Caleb stood up in anger.
I pulled him back down. "Because we're testing in the same region." Caleb didn't know what to think. That day, Mr. Ko saw us both out. He didn't say anything more, just kept smoking his cigar. After that, he often had his secretary send us late-night snacks. During the summer break of 11th grade, at a dinner, he casually mentioned that the team of programmers in his company had been trying to optimize a system for 3 months without success. I borrowed his laptop, used a new algorithm, and increased the hardware efficiency by 31%. From then on, every time I went to Caleb's house, there was always a bottle of expensive vintage wine on the dinner table. But that's a story for later. After Caleb and I were reported, I asked the teacher in charge who had written the letter. He gave me an unexpected name. Sarah Lamb. It was that girl again. Vicky Lou slammed the table. That gloomy girl, with her sticky fingers, always stealing things. I felt this was a bit different from the rumors. Aren't you guys the ones who isolate and bully her? She's a thief. Even if she steals, you can't just beat her up in the restroom, can you? Who hit her? Vicky Lee sighed. That day, I was in a hurry, and she had stolen all my pads.
What was I supposed to do besides chase her into the restroom to find her?
That's how the rumor of a bloodbath in the restroom started.
I suddenly realized the gap between truth and rumor.
Perhaps Sarah Lamb couldn't understand why, as an ordinary person just like her,
I could live so well in room 302, and even have a sweet relationship with Caleb. I set up an emergency corner in the classroom, and put some sanitary pads there.
Anyone who needed one could use it, and anyone who remembered could contribute more. The first day the emergency corner was set up, the class was in chaos. The girls were in a heated debate with the whistling, teasing boys, while Sarah Lamb sat silently in the crowd, her head bowed. Youth passes like a fleeting shadow. I don't know what difficulties she has gone through, but I hope she will live better. My dear wifey, today when they were teasing you, I scolded them. I said this is to break the stigma around sanitary pads. Was I right? Very good. Very right. You're praiseworthy. So tonight, Caleb, I don't want to be pregnant while taking my exams.
I don't want to graduate from high school with a family of 3. I was just planning to ask you to go stargazing.
I bought a telescope. Sorry, cough cough, is this orange juice sparkling? Ahem. That's just your hormones bubbling up. Thank you for your hormones for bubbling up for me, my little girlfriend. Caleb bowed elegantly and gently kissed the back of my hand. You too, my first love.